Greetings, I'm Kathy Green with Christian News and Interviews. I have to be honest with you, every chance I get to vote, I vote. Why? Because my ancestors went through hell and high water for the right to vote in a democratic society. And so any opportunity that I have to vote locally, nationally, I take it and I vote. I don't care how long I have to stand in line. I don't care how inconvenienced I might be. I vote. I also vote because I know that there are people out here who don't want me to vote. Remember, President Trump had the gall a few years ago to thank Black people for staying home. Well, I wasn't one of the Black people he was thanking because I don't ever stay home. The truth of the matter is, though, Black people actually do vote. Check this out. I'm just going to read one paragraph, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I really want to talk to you about. The fact that there's a fight to try to keep us from voting. But I'm going to first read this one paragraph. Regarding presidential elections, voter turnout for the United States population has stayed relatively stable since 1980, with the exception of a slightly higher turnout in 1992 and a dip in 1996 and 2000. While whites traditionally have the highest voter turnout relative to other racial groups, Blacks have higher voter turnouts than Hispanics and Asians. In fact, Black voter turnout was within 1 percentage point of whites in 2008, 65.2% compared to 66.1%, and was actually higher than whites in 2012, 66.6% compared to 64.1%. In 2016, voter turnout for Blacks dipped to 59.6%, while that number was lower than whites, 65.3%. It was still higher than Asians at 49.3% and Hispanics at 47.6%. I said all that to say this. North Carolina judge strikes down a voter ID law they say discriminates against Black voters. So don't trust those people who will tell you that Black people don't vote. Obviously, not only do we vote, but there's fear of us voting. And there's always a new trick to try to keep us from voting. North Carolina judges struck down the state's latest voter identification law on Friday, agreeing with minority voters that Republicans rammed through rules tainted by racial bias as a way to remain in power. 2 of the 3 trial judges declared the December 2018 law as unconstitutional, even though it was designed to implement a photo voter ID mandate added to the North Carolina Constitution and a referendum just weeks earlier. They said the law intentionally discriminates against Black voters, violating their equal protections. The law was motivated, at least in part, by an unconstitutional intent to target African American voters, Superior Court judges Michael Ofolanta and Vince Rosier wrote in their 100-page majority opinion. Other less restrictive voter ID laws would have sufficed to achieve the legitimate non-racial purposes of implementing the constitutional amendment requiring voter ID, deferring fraud, or enhancing voter confidence. The majority decision, which followed a 3-week trial in April, is now likely headed to a state appeals court, which had previously blocked the law's enforcement last year while the case was heard. The law remains unenforceable with this ruling. I'm going to stop there for now. It's a long article. I will post it below so that you can read the rest of it. But regardless of what your ethnicity is, register to vote, vote often, vote every opportunity that you get. Blood has flowed for your right to vote. There are people out here who don't want you to vote, and if for no other reason, vote for the fact that there are people who don't want you to vote. Exercise your desires, your thoughts, your beliefs, and do it at the polls. That's all.